Good morning. I'm Terry, and welcome to TARDIS Spider. Today, let's return to November 23rd, 1963. The first episode in the first story of Doctor Who will air. It is titled An Unearthly Child. But did you know there is more than one version? Well, let's do a comparison and discover why. It's November 23rd, 1963. An Unearthly Child airs. This is the most important episode in all of Doctor Who, new or classic. No episode plants more plot threads, and for over 50 years, writers will return to this episode for story arcs, ideas, or background. Yet, the first episode is almost as far as our story goes. Sidney Newman was disappointed in the results of the initial recording. He found fault with technical difficulties, directional choices, and performances by the cast. The Doctor came across as too sinister and distant, Susan too alien. With this in mind, he ordered a complete reshoot. The unaired version was labeled Pilot and stashed away, with a new version to be aired on November 23rd, 1963. We're going to begin with some insight into some of the differences. The original junkyard, classrooms, and school hallway sets were all destroyed. Basically, everything that wasn't a TARDIS set was destroyed and put away. Both versions of our story start with a policeman outside of 76 Totter's Lane. The changes here is there is more fog in the aired version, and the junkyards are different, and if you look closely, the TARDISes are both different. When Barbara leaves her classroom and enters the hallway, at the end of the hallway are a pair of glass doors. Now Barbara will then go to Ian's classroom, and what is written on the chalkboard varies in both versions. And in the unaired pilot, Ian is picking up dishes and cleaning them in the classroom. Ian and Barbara will return to her classroom where Susan is waiting. Barbara has a book on the French Revolution to share with Susan. There are two different books, a hardback edition and a hardback edition with a paper cover in the aired pilot. When they leave, Barbara and Ian are in focus in the aired version, yet slightly out of focus in the unaired version. After they leave, in the pilot, Susan will make a doodle and an ink blot. In the aired version, she says, "This is all wrong." Leaving the classroom behind, Barbara and Ian will travel to 76 Totter's Lane to wait for Susan. While waiting, they discuss events involving Susan in the past. In the pilot episode, Ian has presented a science problem. Susan says you cannot solve the problem only using 3 of the elements. In the aired version, she corrects herself and says you cannot solve the problem using only 3 of the dimensions. Susan will arrive, and Barbara and Ian will follow her into the junkyard. There's a different junkyard in each version. In the pilot version, Ian is holding a pen light. When he trips and falls, it's on a brick paver floor. In the aired version, Ian is carrying a regular flashlight, and when he falls onto a plain, dirt-covered floor. When the Doctor enters the junkyard, there are 2 versions of his discussion with Ian. In one version, they discuss getting the policeman and the Doctor waiting for them. In the aired version, the Doctor inspects a framed picture and a vase while discussing these things with Ian. When Barbara storms into the TARDIS, we notice that there are 2 different versions of the TARDIS. In the unaired pilot, the sign on the door is framed with a white border, and it is not framed in the aired version.
Inside set changes, it's a different chair and a table is missing. In the pilot, the doors move and the back wall has wrinkles in it.
Thank you for that, Anna. Now, Susan and the Doctor are from the 49th century in the unaired pilot. In the aired version, they are from another time and another place. In the aired version, the Doctor is less grumpy and laughs more. The Doctor's clothes are also different. In the pilot, he wears a modern coat and tie, and in the aired version, a high-winged collar, a cravat, and checkered trousers. A mishmash from the past. And of course, he has his ring in the aired version, but not in the pilot. And we all know how important the ring will become later on. Susan's clothes will also change. In the unaired pilot, she appears in a more futuristic outfit, though I'm not so sure how futuristic it is, and a striped shirt and jeans in the aired pilot. By the way, the shirt is her own. When the Doctor dematerializes the TARDIS, though we do not have that term yet, in the unaired pilot, he wrestles with Ian. That tussle is avoided in the aired version. Ian and Barbara are wildly thrown about, and Barbara lands in the chair. Remember the different chairs? This is when you can really notice that there is a difference. And is this the roughest dematerialization in the history of Doctor Who? Well, that's all I noticed. What did I miss? Does it matter, really? Because this is one of the most perfect pilot episodes ever for a TV show. That completes our video on An Unearthly Child. The origin story does go into episode 2 just a little bit, but we'll talk about that in another time. So enjoy your journey through time and space, enjoy Doctor Who, wear a mask, social distance, wash your hands, and above all, stay safe and take the time to love everyone in your life. There is no room for hate in Doctor Who. Good night. Today, for a recommendation, let's return to BritBox, The Heist at Hatton Gardens. In April 2015, the Hatton Garden Safe Deposit Company, an underground safe deposit facility in London's Hatton Garden area, was burgled. The total stolen may have had a value of up to £200 million, and the incident had been called the largest burglary in British legal history. The heist was planned out and carried out by 6 elderly men who were experienced thieves, all of whom pleaded guilty and received sentences.